Welcome to another episode. Today's question is emotion only a psychological word to play with the human mind, or is it really something? So, the question, I will repeat the question: is emotion only a psychological word to play with the human mind, or does it really have some meaning? So, the questioner asks whether emotions is merely a word, or does it have real substance behind that emotions. So we will see the dictionary meaning of emotion first. Emotion is a strong feeling deriving from one's circumstances, mood, relationships with others. So the definition is a conscious mental reaction as anger or fear. There are other emotions also. Subjectively experienced as strong feeling, usually directed toward a specific object or a person, and typically accompanied by psychological and behavioral changes in the body. So it is started from other persons or objects, it is directed towards other persons or objects, and there is a psychological as well as behavioral changes in the body. So for a normal living we require both IQ as well as EQ, the intelligence as well as the emotion. Emotion is a way of communicating what we feel, not just through words, but the joy, pain, anger that reinforces that communication. But if one's understanding is better, if one understands the mind itself is not mere than a bundle of thoughts, then what is emotion? Is happiness achieved through emotion? But for a normal person, we cannot dismiss emotion as a word. It is much more than that. It means a whole life to them. So first, let us see Managing Emotional Intelligence by Lisa Carver, a quote from them. So EI is the emotions, emotional intelligence. EI is the ability to sense and understand. That is the first thing. Second is to manage. Third is to communicate. Fourth is to discriminate among emotions and thoughts and use the information to guide future thinking and action. Fifth is EI does not merely mean being nice or submissive, nor does it mean allowing free rein to your feelings, letting it all hang out. So this is a meaning or system of emotional intelligence. What are the things which is required for emotional intelligence? Next, we will see the role of the brain in emotional intelligence. 1. A person must have control over his emotions in order to utilize the rational thinking part of the brain. Our brains are more emotional than logical. We unlearn old habits of thought, feeling and action that are deeply ingrained and integrate new ones. Such a process takes motivation, effort, time, support and sustained practice. So this is what is required, means the role of brain in the emotions. Next we will see some extract from J.Krishnamurti's Madras talk in 1948. Is there a difference between thought and emotion? Is not emotion the same as thought? You cannot think about love, but you can think about emotions or the object of love, desire, sensation and feeling. Is that feeling love? This is important because to process of understanding, you will come to that which will lead to immediate transformation. Since thought is not the medium of transformation, will strong emotions bring about the same? Communication is one part of emotion. When I tell you I love you, I have an emotion. In communicating that, emotion becomes strengthened. When is it that we feel emotion? My son dies. I have a strong emotion. With that sorrow of loneliness, breaking of habit, bring about a revolution of values. Emotions, feelings of pleasure or pain are first nervous responses and the psychological responses, that is, response of memory. Will grief modify your character? Will the shock of my son's death change my character? Obviously, love is not sentiment. To be sentimental, to be emotional is not love, because sentimentality and emotion are mere sensations. A religious person who weeps about Jesus or Krishna, about his guru or somebody else, is merely sentimental, emotional. He is indulging in sensation, which is a process of thought, and thought is not love. Thought is the result of sensation. So the person who is sentimental, who is emotional, cannot possibly know love. Again, are not we emotional and sentimental? Sentimentality, emotionalism is merely a form of self-expansion. To be full of emotion is obviously not love, because the sentimental person can be cruel, and when his sentiments are not responded to, when his feelings have no outlet, an emotional person can be stirred to hatred, to war, to butchery. A man who is sentimental, full of tears for his religion, surely has no love. So he is basically saying emotions mostly are thoughts and the sentimentality. Sentimentality has no reality. It has no love. A sentimental person can be cruel when his sentiments are not met, not responded to. It is merely a self-expansion of ego, the sentimentality, and the emotions behind it. So that is what he is trying to tell. Next, we will see Psychology of Meditation and Health. This is by Dilwar Hussain and Braj Bhushan. Most of the unhealthy habitual patterns are due to our identification with emotions that we are not able to control and regulate. With detached observation, emotions and thoughts lose their power, and practitioner is able to identify the unhealthy patterns of behavior and remove them with healthy ones. So most of these emotions are unhealthy. That's what these people are trying to tell. So if you practice, you identify these unhealthy emotions and behaviors, pattern, and replace it with healthy ones. That is their finding. Now we will see Pursuit of Happiness, Advaita Vedanta Perspective by Chandrasekhar and Veeraya. This is a quote from A. Parthasarathi. This Veeraya has referred in his article. Every human being tirelessly seeks happiness in the world through action, emotion, and knowledge. The search for bliss goes on. No one has ever found it. Only the rare one who has directed his search inward reached that state of supreme bliss. He finds it through realization of the self. So people through emotion also, action and knowledge, and emotion also, which is bhakti, try to find the truth. And only on realization, very rare people on realization has found the truth. So emotion here is bhakti in a spiritual world. Why emotion is a wordplay? This is Ravin Sharma's little blank book for stunning success. If you call a stumbling block a problem or a big mess, you will create a different emotional state within you than if you call the issue an opportunity or a challenge that will only make me better. So I'll repeat it. If you call a stumbling block a problem or a big mess, you will create a different emotional state. So you have a problem and emotionally you feel it is a stumbling block, then you will create a different emotional pattern than if you think that block as an opportunity to find new ways. a challenge that will make you better, then you have a different set of emotions. So that is Robin Sharma's advice on how to approach an emotional block. Then there is Unraveling Our Negative Emotions by Venerable Rubina Koti. In other words, anger, attachment, and the rest are concepts, wrong concepts. It seems like a joke to say that these are powerful emotions based in thoughts, but that is because we only notice them when they roar up to the surface as emotion. Perhaps we can see the disturbing aspect of them, but rarely the delusional. They are distorted assessments of the person or the event that we are attached to or angry with. They are elaborations, exaggerated stories, lies, misconceptions, fantasies, conceptual constructions, superstitions. As Rinpoche puts it, they decorate on the top of what is already there, layers upon layers of characteristics that are simply not there. Bad enough, we see the things this way. The worst part is that we believe these stories are true. This is what keeps us locked inside our own personal insane asylum. Understanding this is the key to understanding our negative states of mind and therefore how to get rid of them. So, what Venerable Rubina Koti says is our emotions are merely a build-up, which is based on our beliefs, our stories which we have built up against somebody. Our emotions like anger are built upon not purely truth. It is built upon misconceptions because of the anger. Fantasies, we build more and more on it. Then, these delusional aspects we forget, we believe them, believe our own fantasies. Then one day it bursts out as the negative emotions. So we have to understand this. This is critical. That's what she says. You understand your build-up. You understand your fantasy against somebody. All the illusions you have built up. Then suddenly one day it bursts out. So that is as far as emotions are concerned. Emotions are there. It's a good way of communicating. But it is based on thoughts. And mostly a wrong construct which creates jealousy, anger and other emotions. So understand that, get rid of those negative emotions. With this we will end this episode. Stay with me for another episode. Subscribe to my channel. Share this. Thank you.